Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. And we're going to be going over the whole Matthew Crooks thing, or the Trump assassin here, as he's been reported on the whole Gab situation of all of his stuff being released. So buckle in and stay tuned because it's going to be a bumpy ride. So hopefully you guys all get to see that. But first, before all this, I'm going to show you the fact that the left is completely melting down and trying to say, oh, this guy is a Republican, he was a Republican, this and whatnot, and you should, and this is all there, and the Republicans are fuming, are in shock, and we're not, because one, regardless of who it was, we don't condone we wouldn't condone anything, and I'm just saying the line, the Republican or whatever, but our side that is not insane is not going to go and say this was a good thing or whatever. But the media are trying to make it as like, oh, it's a Republican that did this, even though we have evidence saying otherwise. So without further ado, my friends, here's the actual clip.
To see the media's bias against Democrats on full display, look no further than how this particular issue is being litigated, where the guy who has spent the better part of a decade fomenting violence is finally on the receiving end of it at the hands of a registered Republican, no less, and yet suddenly it's the Democrats' fault for not lowering the temperature in this country. No cause to lower the temperature when Trump told his rallygoers to beat up protesters and that he would pay their legal bills. No cause to lower the temperature when Trump posted a picture of Joe Biden hogtied.
But we just got some reporting from a local news agency in Pennsylvania today that could give us a clearer view of the political beliefs of the shooter. This news agency talked to some of the shooter's neighbors who lived around him in the neighborhood he lived in, and they confirmed that he had some political signs on his yard in recent years. Those political signs? Trump signs. Trump supporting signs. Seriously. So we're going to look at the reporting. We'll talk about it a little bit, but here is that reporting from the local news agency.
Investigators dressed in plain clothes as well as FBI agents approach this house. That's where the family of Thomas Crooks lives, which is right here on Milford Drive. Then we started to see those agents going door to door, canvassing the neighborhood and speaking with people who live here. They're trying to get answers to the many questions that still remain. Crooks's motive is still unclear. Records show he is a registered Republican, and neighbors today told us that they've actually seen Trump signs outside of the home over the course of the last few years.
Yeah, so some fantastic reporting there from 11 News, a local news agency, I believe in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They also actually spoke to neighbors who talked about seeing these signs in front of the shooter's yard. Take a look at that here as well.
Neighbor Kelly Little had few answers for the FBI and just as many questions herself. She said until recently there were pro-Trump signs in the Crooks' front yard.
There absolutely was MAGA supporting things for a while.
MAGA supporting things the shooter had in front of his house. This is quite a startling.
Okay. So that is what the left and the lunatics are trying to spin here in order to try to get you like, oh, well, it was a Republican that did this. Even though that we have here, shown here, he was donating to a Democratic, pro-Biden Democratic super PAC, right? To Act Blue. So I don't know what they're getting at here, because they're kind of coping and hoping about all of this, and it's not really working in their favor. And what we have here from this actual news from the Kanoka the Great saying, Thomas Matthew Crooks made 9 posts on Gab supporting President Biden, COVID lockdowns, and Biden's border policies, according to Gab founder Andrew Torba. Now we're going to show you to Andrew Torba in a minute here, but you'll get to see. Now, last time I checked, guys, these 3 things here, supporting President Biden, COVID lockdowns, and Biden's border policies, these are all things that anybody that is in the center or in the middle or what have you, a Republican especially, you're not going to see them wanting any of these type of policies or wanting to talk about these things, right? So I don't know what they're going to do here about this, and that's not Republican by any stretch of the matter. It's not conservative at all, so it's really quite insane. And it goes on to say here that I'm sorry to explain to me how Trump was ever concerned with what the left wanted, or anybody in the GOP for that matter. The reason all the deaths are down is because you are stuck in your own house and stuff like that. So we're going to go actually in reading all these messages here that is related to this, right? And we're going to go to the actual source here, which is Andrew Toba, which gives this. So he says here, approximately 30 minutes ago, Gab learned that Thomas Crooks, the deranged Joe Biden supporter who attempted to assassinate President Donald Trump, may have had an account on our platform. We are unable to confirm that the account in question actually belonged to him. So this is all speculation at the moment, but they have a reason for this. The account was last active on the site in 2021. As far as we are aware, the account did not use the site to send any direct messages. He posted on the site 9 times total. While the account made very few posts on the site, the majority of them were in support of President Biden. A number of posts in particular expressed support for President Biden's COVID lockdowns, border policies, and executive orders. So, we have saved the account data pending receipt of a search warrant. So, there's apparently a search warrant going out, and they're saving all this stuff. So what he said here is that to Cat Turd, which is I guess you could say a right-wing type of Twitter account, says, didn't you also think Biden would lose in a landslide? Yeah, I would not be very confident in your election predictions. He goes on to Regency Girl 2023 and Mitchell V. First of all, Biden executive orders don't incentivize human trafficking, as human traffickers aren't interested in citizenships. This is how stupid he is. Likewise, the majority of illegal immigrants are not criminals, and in fact, some studies, such as the one linked below, show the lower rates of crime committed by these individuals. It is also unclear if the extensive path to citizenship is in fact effective at rooting out potential bad actors, hence why there's a review of that system. No, because they are actually, as a matter of fact, they increase crime. Because it's not like, the Venezuelan gangs or anything are, wreaking havoc in New York City and causing all kinds of mayhem. No, that's not what's going on here. And they're illegal immigrants. So, I don't know, they are sitting there criminals. Because as I shown before, Venezuela's crime rate is down by like 25%. So, of course, he's wrong there. But he goes on to say here, guys, that there is this. It says, okay, so for one, the turnout in 2020 election was 66.7%, while in 2012, it was 55% in 2016. And roughly that amount in 2012 and 2016, therefore, there's going to be a lot more votes for both candidates. So comparing just the number of votes isn't accurate in measuring a candidate's popularity. Instead, look at the percentage of overall votes. You'll find Trump won 46% of the votes in 2016, losing the popular vote, and this year he still won 40%. So 46% of the vote, so yes, more people vote for him, but that's a result of a larger turnout, not a genuine increase in popularity. Actually, the executive order allows an easier path to U.S. citizenship, therefore no longer making them illegals, and allowing children to join their already illegalized immigrant parents in the U.S. Incorrect! This guy is a bloody idiot, but there's no surprise here. The reason till all the debts are down is because you are stuck in your house, And that's funny because the first order to mandate a reuniting of any families separated at the border. The second and third orders are a review of Trump's immigration policies and other previous policies. However, this order doesn't actually open borders or reduce the authority of the Border Patrol or any that would substantially reduce BP effectiveness. So I'm sorry, but this guy is talking out of his ass. And he goes on to say, I'm sorry, explain to me how Trump was ever concerned with what the left wanted, or anybody in the GOP for that matter. Because anything that the left wanted is completely insane. Now, granted, these things are all up in the air. They're all up for speculation. So we don't know if it's truly this person or not. So take this with what we have here. But this is from what Andrew told Torba about this person. And this was posted on February 3rd, 2021. So, again, I want to talk about this. The second and third orders are a review of Trump's immigration policies and other previous policies. It says, however, that his order doesn't actually open borders or reduce the authority of Border Patrol or anything that would substantially reduce BP effectiveness. Now, the thing is that he did reduce the amount of, illegal immigrants coming into this country and reduce the crime. And it says, actually, the executive order allows an easier path to citizens to U.S. citizenship, therefore no longer making them illegals and allowing children to join their already legalized immigrant parents in the U.S. Which, again, that's already false, because it makes you're making it easier for them to get into the U.S. where they could be criminals. There's no verification, there's no process to vet them if they're actually good. This is the reason why we have a system in place, so we can vet people that are being bad. So again, this is really, really stupid here, but this sounds like closer to like a huge Biden supporter. Now, Andrew Tolbert goes on to say here that we are disclosing this information at significant personal and business risk. If the past is any guide to find the DC consensus by publishing the first definitive evidence that the shooter was a Biden supporter, something Democrats and their media allies have tried to cover up and deny at every turn, has a high probability of resulting in significant political and media backlash. In the past, we have been the target of politically motivated inquiries from both the House Oversight Committee and the Joint Committee on the January 6 attacks, both of which sought to interfere with our mission of protecting free speech online. The enemies of freedom have the ability to impose significant present and future legal costs, and any donations we receive will help to defray those costs. So, yeah, there you go. And so, more context, the reason we know is because we received an emergency disclosure request from a law enforcement agency. So, yeah, they've been contacted from law enforcement and stuff like that. So, I'm going to go after the guy that, obviously did stuff like this and is reporting on it or is requesting the agency and stuff like that. So, this is what they seems to be their guy. So, guys, the fact that the left are saying that this guy is, a Republican is seeming to be quite insane. And it doesn't seem to go very well for the left. But of course, the media won't talk about this. They'll keep it behind closed doors and say, we'll sweep this under the rug instead of, actually reporting the actual news that we have here. So, yeah, that's what we have here, guys. This man seems to be a Biden supporter, which is no surprise here. This is not a surprise. I mean, he voted for Act Blue. So, if we look at the Act Blue situation, and then we look at what these posts here, it could be very easily this could be the man, and, it ain't looking too good for the Democrats here. Alright, guys, that's it for video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted. Cause it's algorithmic disease, the social media.